Namaste and welcome to yet another edition of News18 presents Yuva Bharat in association with IIMUN, the student body that is working towards uniting nations across the world, the India way, the Bharat way. The philosophy of Bharat is what they want to take across. So Rishabh Shah, its president, is with us. But today, as we are queuing up our 74 years of independence, as we're building up to it and entering into the 75th year of independence, what a unique year. It's landmark, but we're going to have exams that nobody has written, results that everybody has got, and careers that aggregation is going to decide. So, is this perhaps a sign of things to come, or are many people going to rethink the way they approach the exams? So, all those people who did not want exams just about 2 or 3 months ago, are they now thinking we better write these exams because we could have done better? Or other thing, अच्छा हुआ नहीं लिखना बड़ा जो मिल गया उसी से खुश हैं. So we'll talk about all of that. Joining us today is Sneha Singh from Bhilai. She's a student of the Krishna Public School. Aditya Joshi is joining us from Kashipur in Uttarakhand. He's a student of Vision Valley School. Harsh Ranjan is joining us from Ranchi, Jharkhand, Delhi Public School student. Pooja Agarwal ji is a parent who's joining us. Jay Shekhar ji is the principal of Vatsalya International School in Gujarat. And Shreya Agarwal is a student of St. Thomas School. So I have deliberately and purposely not read out how much you have scored, because it does not matter to me how much you have scored. It matters to you how much you have scored. So we'll start with, are you happy with what you've scored, and whether you're unhappy with what you and how things have been. So let's ask the students, then I'll go to the parents, and then I'll also come to the principal. And Rishabh, today your talk time is very less. So let's start with the girls. Let's start with the girls first. Okay, Shreya, let me ask you. Shreya?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, are you happy with your marks in Delhi and this aggregation system, the grading system? Or do you think now when you got your marks that you could have got more had you written the exams? Are you thinking about writing the exams going forward?
So I think that if exams were going to happen, then also I would have scored around 93 or 92%. And now also my score is same. And the question which you asked, that are you satisfied with the results and the grading system? So I think amidst the pandemic, the government took a step and they gave us a result based on our past performances. So I think it's a good step.
Even our scriptures say what you do in the past comes and affects your present and also influences your future. Sneha Singh, tell me.
According to me, I'm satisfied with my marks, and I think that the allotment which are given were very good, as it considered our 10th marks as well as 11th mark, as every student works really hard in 10th and 11th, they get the subject they wish for, as well as the 12th marks in which the online exam. So I'm satisfied with my marks, and I think that it's a good system. It was a good step to do this marking like this.
So you're also happy, Aditya?
I am personally, I'm fine. Like, I'm not that satisfied, nor am I that sad. I'm just fine, because let's say we have been given marks according to our performances in 10th and 11th grade. A student does definitely study in 10th grade, but in 11th grade, I don't think that is the case with most of the people like I know I'm around with. So any which case, I find this to be a very good result overall, how CBSE took the setup and declared the results, but we could have done something else also.
We could have done something else, he believes. What is it that we could have done? We'll ask Aditya in just a minute. Let me just get the opening thoughts from everybody. Yes, Harsh.
I'll partially agree with Aditya. I'm also fine with the result, because most of the students of my stream, if I say personally, the science stream, the board marks are not mattering a lot. So the government did it, and the grading system was fair. So that works, and I'm happy with my marks. But we still have to write exams for other stuff, competitive exams. So yeah, the board marks, I'm happy with them.
तुम्हारा नंबर देख के मैं भी खुश हूँ. So, but Pooja ji, as a parent, where do you stand?
even I'm happy with the way that they have decided the mark scheme. Like they have considered the 10th and 11th marks, because most of the students were not able to take the classes or the exams in 12th. Even I'm satisfied with my daughter's result also. I know she has got what she deserved. Yeah.
So you feel exam dikti to bhi utna hi milta hai?
Yeah, it could have been lesser. I don't expect much, because she was preparing for her entrance also. So I don't expect it to be better. But still, she got what she deserved, I mean.
So you feel that she got what she deserved. Jai Shekharji, are you happy with this kind of a gradation system? Or do you think that somehow had students written their exams, it would have been better?
Well, Anand, first of all, I'm so happy to hear from the student panelists here. Shreya, then Sneha and Aditya have been so happy and much satisfied with the result. And that's quite marvelous to hear from them. Even the parent who is in the panel has been so happy. But the most fascinating part of the CBSE class 10th and 12th result, 10th result is also announced today, is that most of the students say that my teachers are good. That is something good to hear at this moment of time. And most of them say that I did not expect the score of 95%, 96%, 97.2%. That's what is commonly coming up from the student side. And some express their happiness, and some of them are with almost no expressions, I would say, and very few, almost around less than 5% of the students I do come across in and around Gujarat, where I have been in touch with a number of schools here and the principals here, are a bit disappointed. Those less than 5% of the students, and they do feel that their effort is wasted and lost. I personally feel that the students who feel that their effort is wasted must not feel bad, and they do have opportunities coming up. I think Aditya rightly said that there are doors opening for all these students. This is not the end of it. And opportunities to give written examination is another option given by CBSE. CBSE has come up with a wonderful option here. If anybody feels that they are not satisfied with the result declared by CBSE, they do have an option to give written examination. And also, as Aditya says, all doors are open to go for all entrance examinations, such as JEE, NEET examinations, and all examinations for CA Foundation examinations, the CLAT examinations, all state level and national level public service examinations. There are ways to go still. So this is not the ultimate end of the career options or the academics of the students. That's what I feel. This is just a start. Children should take it positively and move ahead.
We are an exam nation. We are a test country. That's what we are. Every time we got to write a test for everything. So एक test कम लिखा तो क्या हुआ 10 और लिखना है. But Rishabh Shah, you are somebody who has been championing and you are very strongly advocating that exams should not be conducted. What's been the feedback so far?
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled, and I'm thrilled that everybody in the panel thinks that justice is done in terms of the marks that have come out. And I'm so glad that that's a sustained campaign, and you carried it through on national television. And so very many people on ground also advocated and stood for this. So I'm very grateful to you, and so delighted today to be able to see all the students, the parents, and the principal happy. There's always going to be 5% who will be unhappy. But in this case, what the CBSE has miraculously done, as the principal elucidated, is that 5% also gets a chance to be happy. So somehow, one of those rare cases when 100% of the people who are writing are eventually getting what they want. So I think if I was in grade 12, I wish this had happened during that time.
See, this is exactly what I have a problem with. When you are having a feeling that you've got actually more than what you deserve, and you did not have to write an examination, then there is an issue, because you've not been tested. Have you actually been tested? Or if you say पूरा साल class ही नहीं कराया तो फिर क्या test लोगे? So that's where we were. I have for somebody. Although I'm all for students not having to bear with the pressure and also not to go through with the fear of COVID, etc. I am totally up for that. But somewhere I've always believed that you needed to be tested for your ability. If you are coming away with the feeling that I'm better off this way rather than writing the exam, then have you actually got more than what you deserve?
No, but as you know, I was jovially mentioning it. But then again, what you said is true. See, I mean, they've not written the papers. They themselves know they've not written the papers, and they'd be the best judges of this. But going forward, most universities, most colleges understand that this year is a unique year. It's unprecedented, and probably, hopefully, should never repeat itself. Which is why I think, just like the principal mentioned, there are so very many examinations that have been conducted, not just for public service, but also to get into school, into good universities. And many universities have in fact reworked their examination, and they are taking in the intake of students per se, the mechanism in which they intake students per se as such. So I know the marks, in some cases, people are happy that they didn't have to write examinations. And the small notorious boy in me would be also very happy. But at the same point in time, we don't know that the larger picture is not going to be in terms of, the more professional examinations yet need to be written, just like Harsh said. And the better universities and the better colleges are yet going to have their own grading systems before taking in students. So nothing taken away from that.
Shreya, what do you think? You think people will ever trust your 12th standard numbers? You would always be benchmarked against, oh, this is that COVID batch. They never wrote their exams. They got some marks, which was a gradation system, and it was all very subjective. It's not a test, a real test of her ability. There may be people who may ask that, or would you say, I've got this. This was the situation, everybody, and everybody is in the same, this one has been judged in the same, from the same barometer. So, well, that's how it is.
Sir, I think there will always be an element of the COVID batch thing, the COVID batch of 2020. But I think that's how we need to accept this, and we need to move forward. And even if some people tell us that, okay, you've got your result based on your past performances and you've not given any exams, this is no result at all, then also it's, I think, true. Because we actually haven't given any real examinations. It was only the internal examinations, the practicals and the pre-boards. So it's fine by me.
But that 1%, 0.5% will make a difference, won't it, Shreya? So if you tomorrow apply to a particular college and their cutoff is 0.5% more than what you've got, will you come away with the feeling that exam likha hota, shayad I would have made the cutoff?
So I'm not sure, that a thought might strike me, but then it is how it is. I have to accept it, and the cutoffs as usual will be high, and the cutoffs that I have seen of previous years are 99% and 98% of reputed colleges, the top colleges. So we have to accept it and apply for wherever we are eligible.
You think writing an exam now is going to be tough, Sneha? No.
I think writing an exam wouldn't be that tough. I think that I would have scored better if I wrote the exam by myself. But as you said that we will have a tag of COVID batch in for our whole life. Like even if we go anywhere, we will be judged by it. But I think we have studied 3 years and did our hard work in it. That's why we got this result. I don't think this is partiality or something. I think we have done hard work for it from the starting. That's why we got this.
See, just when we started this conversation, she said, I think I would have scored more had I written the exam. Now she's saying, I think my marks are high because I don't want to go through the process of writing that 12th standard exams again. I want to move on. Aditya? See, this is the 30% weightage that is very critical. Let me ask Aditya now. Sneha, one second. Yeah.
I feel this year CBSE has been like too good for the students. So everyone has gotten marks. Mostly people have gotten marks more than they expected. So that is why everyone is happy. Had CBSE been a little more harder, people would have been sad. I know people who don't even know that their classes go on Google or Zoom and still they've gotten percentages like 90, 95. So, but at the end, I feel that marks, especially this year, marks don't matter much. And whatever has happened now, it's gone. So we practically can't do anything. And we still have the chance of giving exams, but that is like a very irrelevant process because everyone would be in their colleges studying and we'll still be studying the 12th standard will be 3, 4, 5 months behind the same people we are with. So not a good idea, I suppose.
So that's the thought process, that you don't want to reinvent the wheel and you don't want to be behind when everybody is moving ahead. Harsh, what should have changed? What could have been a little different?
If we talk about the grading process, if we had to change something, we could have just adjusted the percentages, as people said, 11th marks. But if we consider this system, I consider it to be free and fair. Because taking an example of JEE, because JEE happened 4 times this year. So once we are given 2 attempts in February and March, and April it was like postponed. So everyone was like, March and February is done. Why do we want to give again? But that is the thought process that is coming in mind. Everyone will think like over 1 week after results are declared that let's give exam. And after that, when you start getting admissions in colleges and everything starts settling, people will forget these marks and the thought of exams will go away.
So they don't want to go through that process again. Pooja ji, are you also saying, "ठीक है, जो मिल गया, अब आगे बढ़ो"? Are you also with
Yes,
that?
yes,
My child was working so hard. We prepared our child to be there till 12th, and this whole thing, COVID happened. It's derailed. If there is exam, they should write the exam because that's how the ability will be tested. And all that perhaps they did not do in their 11th standard can be made up in 12th standard. Everybody tries to peak.
Yeah, that's okay. They didn't do well in 11th. That I agree. Everybody was in we are in a higher class. Every student was will study hard in 12th for the boards. But still, I don't want my daughter to go for this process again in October because her classes will be starting next month. So she will be lagging behind, just like Aditya said. She will be left behind. If she will be going for the 12th exams, she will be preparing for that. She will be left behind in her course also.
But Jayshekhar, let me ask you this. Should we then use this as an opportunity to reinvent the entire examination system and move to a continuous gradation system? That means from your 9th standard onwards, you start getting graded on internal assessment. You don't have a big board exam or a final year, a final term exam. And 10th standard also, you don't have a board exam. It's through the year, what you perform, you get an aggregate. So from the COVID batch starts this new thing. Anyway, with the NEP, they want to move to a 5th standard and 8th standard board examinations. So going forward, can that now become the norm?
Yes, Anand, I definitely agree with you that regular grading system or regular assessment in the schools will be definitely helping in this type of situations. And the situation may not be ending sooner. It might go on and on for a certain period of time. We cannot say when this is going to end up. So in this type of situation, CBSE has already taken a real wonderful step of action. CBSE has come up with term-end examinations and in-school grading kind of continuous evaluation system. The CBSE has been insisting all the schools and the principals. And also CBSE has clearly suggested to all the schools, and they have already put up all the norms for the term-end examinations. So this will be definitely helping.
Let's think about this, and I want to know your thoughts. Let's ask the students, Rishabh, and then I'll come back to you towards the end. Sneha, what do you think? Do you think that this COVID batch should be the beginning of a continuous evaluation process?
I'm for it because to be honest, when I see my back result, I think I don't work that hard for half yearly, but for annual, I used to wake up till 2 a.m. and even in my boards, I have done this thing that in the half yearly, I was a bit careless, but in annual, I solved everything 3 to 4 times. So all the silly mistakes should be covered. So I think that would be better because in that way, the student will study throughout the year and the knowledge will increase instead of the mugging up thing. And I think that will make a student more punctual.
So, Aditya, are you also for this, a continuous gradation system? Should this COVID batch, should you guys trigger this continuous gradation system?
Ours was a very different scenario, I would say. So let's not compare this with what we are thinking of. But I would say that if we are planning something like this continuous grading evaluation, it would not help us to, it will not release a burden, but then I feel students will be having that stress that every periodical I get, every test I get, I have to perform well. So till now, I had an option of chilling for 8 months, then studying for 4 months. But now I'll have to study for the whole year. So if it doesn't turn out to be the way we are thinking it to be, then it it won't give the same results, and maybe it won't be that beneficial for the student.
Harsh, what do you think?
So I guess the previous government, the Congress government, had something like this called as CCE for the lower classes, and that used to work well for the system, because then the student knew that I've done this. If I don't do this in the next time, then my marks on and overall will fall down. So you have one thing that is hinting on your back of your mind that you have to do well in the next one. And another thing that happens in this is, even if a student falls sick or something happens during one exam, you have the others to back you up and then score better in the end. Because when you start focusing on just one exam, one student builds up a pressure, and then you wake up till 2 a.m., which is also not recommended by people, to wake up till 2 a.m. and then give the exam the next day. And second thing is, what happens is, there are a lot of people, and especially after in this COVID times on the internet, they'll start offering you crash courses just for 1 month, complete your syllabus in 10 days. So a lot of people keep relying on that 10 days and they chill out the complete year. So that way, the person isn't learning at all. They are just, okay, 10 days will work and we'll score well. So that way, you are not learning, you're just rote learning for 10 days, performing the exam, forgetting everything the next year. So that won't work at all.
So is it possible to look at an evaluation system that focuses more on learning, and is a continuous gradation system perhaps one of the first steps where we start focusing more on learning rather than just how to cram and score? Principal Jaishekhar.
Yeah, Anand, I totally agree with Harsh. Actually, earlier Aditya was saying that continuous evaluation system might stress out the children continuously. It's not. Actually, the continuous evaluation system is not all about continuous examinations or continuous tests. It's not. The continuous evaluation system is all about assessing children continuously on the basis of their presentability, on the basis of their speaking, on the basis of their involvement in their classroom activities, on the basis of their lab activities, their involvement in all sort of social activities, the festivals, everything comes together. It's not all about only learning concepts from the textbooks and giving examinations or tests periodically or on monthly basis or weekly basis.
Final word, Rishabh. So is this COVID batch going to trigger this thought process where we start focusing on cramming and saying how much you scored, to a continuous learning process, which eventually takes us into what the new national education policy envisages?
I think a continuous assessment plan and a continuous assessment system for schools is the need of the hour. And to that end, holistic learning or holistic development, of course, should take precedence over academic rigor. But then the whole thing is, and that's why from 2010 to now 2021, with the new education policy that's coming, you can't just have a CCE without a change in curriculum. Because what will then happen is that then you need a curriculum to support holistic learning. And up until now, you've been focusing only on rote learning. So I agree with some parts of what Aditya said, and then the principal also mentioned that the system needs to support the assessment.
Thank you very, very much for joining us here on this edition of Yuva Bharat. Thank you very much.